Okay, we kick off the Elimination Chamber with the Women's Chamber. To start the match, we see Bayley and Mercedes in the ring. They share a stare off before getting into an intense back and forth of grapples and reversals. They have a decent little 5 minute segment before the countdown clock begins, and once it hits zero, Liv Morgan enters the chamber. Liv immediately gets in the face of Bayley and Mercedes. Liv then turns her back to Bayley and Mercedes and starts taunting the crowd. When she does this, Bayley and Mercedes share a look before they just attack Liv. They beat down on her for a bit before a countdown clock begins. Once it hits zero, Io Sky exits her pod and enters the ring. Io comes in like a ball of fire, immediately knocking down Bayley and Mercedes. Io taunts the crown and puts her back against the ropes, where Liv tries to rush in and hit an Oblivion, but Io manages to flip out of it. Liv is just sitting on the mat staring in disbelief at what Io just did. As Io taunts, she gets attacked by Mercedes and Liv starts brawling with Bayley. The countdown clock begins again and Chelsea Green makes her way into the ring. Chelsea looks around the ring before aiding Mercedes in beating down Io. After they beat down Io, they move over and start beating down on Bayley and Liv. As Chelsea and Mercedes are celebrating in the ring, Chelsea looks over and sees Raquel on the outside yelling at her. She heads over and starts arguing with Raquel. Liv recovers enough to see this and capitalize. She shoves Chelsea into the chamber itself. Liv then repeatedly bashes Chelsea's head against the cage before throwing her back into the ring. Chelsea stumbles across the ring and leans against the ropes. Liv then enters the ring, charges across, and hits Chelsea with an oblivion. Liv then pins Chelsea before Cora can even get into the before Cora can get in. Um, cut out something. Anyways, the countdown clock begins after this, and Cora enters the ring. Uh, Mercedes sees Cora enter and starts brawling with her. Um, uh, Mercedes attempts to put Cora in the bank statement, but Cora, being fresh, manages to avoid the move. And once Mercedes gets up to her feet, Cora hits her with Jaded. Cora goes to crawl over and pin Mercedes, but Bayley cuts her off and hits a rose plant on Cora instead. As Bayley's about to cover Cora, Mercedes stops Bayley and rolls Cora over and locks in the bank statement. Cora struggles for a bit before eventually tapping out. Bayley and Mercedes then get up and head across the ring and brawl with Io and Liv. The two pairs brawl for a bit before we see Bayley hit Liv with a Bayley to belly and Mercedes go for another bank statement. Mercedes gets the bank statement in on Io as Bayley goes for the cover on Liv. The referee is too focused on the submission to count Bayley's pinfall and what should have been a 3 count. Bayley gets up and kicks Mercedes, breaking up the bank statement. Mercedes gets up and is now in the face of Bayley as they exchange words before starting to brawl themselves. They brawl back and forth for a while before Mercedes throws Bayley over the top rope onto the mats on the outside. Mercedes then turns around and Morgan goes for an oblivion, but Mercedes manages to roll through the move. Liv then charges at Mercedes, but Mercedes ducks and gets Liv on her back for the moneymaker and connects. Mercedes then covers Liv. 1, 2, 3. Mercedes is lying on her back when out of the sky, Io comes crashing down with an over the moonsault. Io then covers Mercedes. 1, 2, 3. Bayley then slowly makes her way back into the ring and as the final two participants face off. Bayley and Io exchange blows, but Bayley gains the advantage in attacking the midsection of Io, which seems to be weakened by the spectacular moonsault onto Mercedes. Bayley then tries to hit Io with a rose plant, but she manages to fight out of it. Io then starts to gain the advantage and eventually gets Bayley into the corner and connects with a Meteora onto a seated Bayley in the corner. Io then goes up for the over the moonsault, but looks around at the crowd and hops down to climb the cage to go to the top of the pod. Io then gets on top and sizes up Bayley before jumping off for another over the moonsault. Bayley manages to roll out of the way just in time, and Io goes crashing down into the mat. Bayley quickly makes her way up to her feet and over to Io and hits her with a rose plant and covers her for the 1, 2, 3. Bailey earns the title shot at Mania.
One of our spots is the same. I'm upset. Uh, it's fine.
Listen, I had this stuff written out weeks
Yep,
ago.
yep. It's fine. It's fine. All right.
Who in your match does a moonsault?
No. I'm not talking about that spot.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about just one in your thing. All
Gotcha.
right. Mercedes is ringside after her grueling Elimination Chamber match. Even though she's already hurt, she's ready to help Naomi pick up the win. Naomi's using her speed and athleticism to keep Rhea on her toes. Rhea's having a hard time keeping up. She's getting worn out. Naomi senses this, decides to put her foot on the gas. She gets Rhea in position for, I put this in quotations, IDK, which she calls it the Starship Pain. I know she has a name for that
The
thing she does.
split-legged moonsault.
There you go. Uh, Rhea quickly stands up as Naomi bounces on the rope. Rhea grabs her out of the air in rack attack position. She then quickly runs in the middle of the ring and hits her with a burning hammer that took everything Rhea had. They both just lay lifeless in the middle of the ring for a while until Rhea finally crawls to the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Mercedes starts getting involved. She knows the tide has turned in the match. She starts digging under the ring, grabs a kendo stick. Meanwhile, Rhea is back on the attack. Naomi rolls to the outside. Rhea goes after her, but Mercedes gets in the way with the kendo stick in hand. The ref is yelling at her not to hit Rhea. Rhea just laughs and stares down Mercedes. While Rhea is distracted, Naomi gets back in the ring. Ref checks on Naomi as she just lays on the mat. Rhea starts getting into the ring when Mercedes smacks her twice with the stick and just runs out of harm's way real quick. Once Rhea finally gets in, Naomi hits her with a rear view, goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. After this, finally, Nia Jax comes out. Mercedes starts chirping at her. Nia chirps back. From the inside of the ring, Naomi tells them to both focus. This gives Rhea the distraction to roll her up. 1, 2, kick out. Rhea quickly follows up with multiple blows. Mercedes gets on the apron to distract the ref. Nia enters the ring from the opposite side. She goes to hit Rhea. Rhea ducks. She hits Naomi, Mercedes, and the ref all in one go. Nia quickly turns her attention to Rhea, and they start to go at it for a bit until Nia has Rhea in position for an annihilator. Nia is about to start climbing when Mercedes finally gets back up and gets in her face. They start arguing until Nia finally has enough and smacks Mercedes so hard she knocks her out. She goes and hits Mercedes with an annihilator. Naomi gets up just in time to see this and she starts arguing with Nia. Tells her to just focus on Rhea and she'll fix it all later. Nia is showing off and boasting to the crowd on the middle rope before she hits Rhea with an annihilator. Um, Naomi is standing next to Rhea and Nia goes for it. As Nia goes for it, she was too close. Uh, and by she, I mean Naomi was too close. As Nia finally goes for it, Rhea pulls Naomi onto the ground, causing Rhea to get out of the way and Naomi to get hit with it instead. Nia doesn't realize until she stands up and sees Rhea standing on the opposite side of the ring. She looks down, sees Naomi flattened. She goes for Rhea. Rhea hits a riptide on her. The ref finally gets back up, and Rhea is able to pin Naomi. Rhea walks to the back. Naomi's just sitting in the ring, depressed, while Mercedes and Nia are arguing with each other. She finally yells at them both to shut up as she storms off. Rhea retains lol.
After all of that, just Rhea retains lol.
just, just in case it was lost somewhere in translation.
uh, her winning, yes, was a bit lost in translation, but I don't think the lol. It's not like she went in there and squashed Naomi.
But it's funny.
It is funny. Okay, we move on to the tag team title match between AOP and Cody and Ricochet. Cody and Akam open the match, and Cody immediately tries to work on his legs. Akam, though, seems unfazed by this and just chucks Cody across the ring into a corner. Akam then rushes in to splash Cody, but Cody moves out of the way. Akam bounces out of the corner, and Cody goes for the disaster kick. He connects, but this just stuns Akam, so Cody goes for it again and connects once again, this time knocking the big man down. From there, we see the champions hold the advantage in the match, working over Akam on their side of the ring. Later on, we see Ricochet and Akam in the ring. Ricochet awaits Akam to get to his feet before hitting the ropes as he is about to try and hit a clothesline. Akam just pounces him off to the side. Akam collapses after this, and Ricochet seems stunned. Akam and Ricochet both crawl over to their partners and tag out at the same time. Razor and Cody meet in the middle, but the fresher Razor gains the advantage and picks Cody up and charges him into a corner. He hits several shoulder thrusts before laying in multiple overhand punches. Cody is now seated in the corner when Razor starts to get in the referee's face. Uh, Charlotte, who is at ringside for this match, takes advantage as she slaps Cody across the face. Then she grabs an hourglass from under the ring and sets it beside Cody on the apron. Razor then moves back over to Cody and picks him up for the power bomb. Cody, though, manages to fight out and drop behind Razor before hitting a Cody cutter. Cody covers him. One, two. Akam breaks it up. As Cody and Akam now brawl, Ricochet springboards into the ring and takes out Akam. While taking while taking out Akam, Ricochet and him fall back onto the referee, taking them out. Cody, though, seems focused and picks Razor up for the crossroads. As he is holding him, Cross slides in the ring from behind and locks in a sleeper hold. Cody drops Razor and is fighting to get out, but Cross is not letting up. Cody eventually passes out. Scarlett then throws the referee back into the ring as Razor makes his way over and covers Cody. One, two, three. AOP win the tag titles.
Oh hell no! You had Cody get pinned. Oh hell no! All right. Now we get Rock being pissed that he's not the main event. Here we go. This is a tribal combat match, so it's just pure chaos. Roman right off the bat is fighting the numbers game. Rock, Solo, and Jimmy beat him down. When main event, Jey Uso finally comes in to help the best he can. Jey is taking care of Jimmy and Solo. For now, it's back to a 1v1. Roman and Rock trading blows until Rock finally goes for a massive clothesline. Roman reverses it into a neck breaker. Roman starts calling for a Superman punch, and he hits it. He's calling for a spear now. He does the ooh ah. But before he can take off, he's grabbed from behind. It's Solo. He gets hit with the Samoan spike. Rock hits rock bottom on Roman. Jay starts running toward the ring, but Solo spikes him. Jimmy gets back up and super kicks Roman. Then he super kicks Jay. Then he hits a splash on both of them simultaneously. Rock hits a rock bottom on Jay. Then he tells Solo to hit another spike on Roman. After that, he does a double people's elbow. With both of them down, Rock is able to pick up the victory. But after the match, the beatdown on both of them continue. They both get put through the announce table and just abused with chairs to an uncomfortable level. Rock wins the law.
Not the double people's elbow.
Oh, the double people's elbow.
Okay. After the shenanigans of Rock and Roman, we move into Sammy versus Drew for the World Heavyweight title. The match starts and Drew looks overly excited to have the chance to rip Sammy apart. Drew immediately gives chase to Sammy, who plays this game of cat and mouse with Drew. Anytime Drew would get close, Sammy would wrap himself in the ropes. After doing this a few times, Drew just goes to attack Sammy while he is tied up in the ropes, but the ref pulls him back. And whilst he's being pulled back, Sammy pokes him in the eyes. Sammy quickly rushes in to attack Drew, but Drew just picks Sammy up and belly to belly suplexes him across the ring. After the suplex, Drew holds control over the match for the next several minutes. Drew teases a pin a couple of times, but always pulls off the pin to continue the assault. Drew sets Sammy up in the corner, teases going for a haluva kick himself, and backs up and actually does go for it. Sammy catches Drew as he charges in and nails him with an imploder suplex into the corner. Drew then slowly makes his way to his feet in the corner as Sammy charges in and connects with a haluva kick. Sammy collapses onto Drew for the pin, but only gets a count of two. Sammy senses that he may be close to a victory and manages to pick up Drew and set him in the corner for another haluva kick. Sammy backs up and charges in, but as he charges in, Drew explodes out of the corner and nails Sammy with the claymore. Drew rolls Sammy over and with a smile across his face covers Sammy. One, two. Sammy barely gets his shoulder up. The smile quickly drops from Drew's face and turns into a face of confusion. Drew picks up Sammy and starts to chop Sammy, and Sammy is returning with punches of his own. After a bit of an exchange of chops and punches, Drew nails Sammy with the Glasgow kiss. This stuns Sammy, and Drew charges back across the ring and nails a claymore on Sammy. Drew covers Sammy. One, two. Brock Lesnar appears from under the ring and pulls McIntyre's foot out of the ring, pulling Drew off of Sammy. Um, Brock then throws Drew into the steel steps and into the barricade, causing a DQ. Brock and Drew continue to brawl on the outside and make their way around the ring to the announce table, where Brock picks Drew up and F5s him through the announce table. Sammy wins, or retains via DQ.
Oh, he retained. All right. All these women. Let's see what happens. Naya and Tamina are targeted by everyone. PFC and Damage Control even put their never-ending rivalry to the side for the beginning of this match. But of course, that doesn't last long, and they eventually start attacking each other. Towards the end, Tamina is taken out of the equation as Shayna got some handcuffs and locked Tamina onto the post on the outside. And to make sure she didn't escape, she swallowed the key. She just went to town with kendo sticks on Tamina. Tamina's abdomen is busted open. The only ones up right now are Shayna, Kyrie, Tiffany, and Naya. They all go for Naya. Naya holds her own for a bit. She's even able to take Kyrie out before Shayna and Tiffany just overwhelm her. She lets out one last fit of adrenaline and sends Shayna flying out of the ring into the crowd. Tiffany grabs a kendo stick and starts beating her with it, but it's not enough as Nia is able to destroy her. Naomi's music hits and she comes running in. Nia looks grateful to see her after what happened earlier tonight. Nia tells her to pick up a candlestick and start going to town. Naomi picks it up. Nia picks up Tiffany, holding her up like a pinata. She tells Naomi to swing at her. Naomi takes a second, looks at the candlestick, and swings. She swings at Nia. She starts absolutely unloading on Nia, yelling at her that she cost her the title one too many times. Mercedes comes out. She gets a chair. She starts swinging at Nia too. Tamina is yelling, trying to escape, but she can't. Naomi hits Nia with the rear view. Mercedes locks in a bank statement on her for a while. Naomi gets up and she goes to Tamina and tells her that this has nothing to do with her. She can join them. She can reunite Team Bad. Naya has been slowing them down. She tells her to think about it. Back in the ring, Tiffany sets up. She hits the world's prettiest moonsault on Naya. Bliss is finally up. She hits Twisted Bliss on Naya. They go for the cover. One, two, three. New tag team champions.
You both love and hate to see it. Ain't no way you're reforming Team Bad. There's no way. The team was so terrible in real life.
They weren't who they ended up growing into.
True, they were far from it.
Oof. I guess it's back to me with hardly anything written on this. All right. Bianca
Sophie Bliss time.
is heavily relying on her hair this match. Jade just has red marks on her everywhere because she's getting whipped so much. She gets hit right in the face with it in this match too. But Bianca goes for it one too many times. Jade finally catches her hair mid swing and just pulls it straight into her and is able to land a big boot on Bianca. This is where Jade starts to pick up the momentum and doesn't look back. The end sees Jade starting to set up for Jaded, the real Jaded. While that's happening, Bianca starts to pretend she's injured. The ref tells Jade to back off so she can check on her. As they're checking on her, Jade goes in anyways and is hit right in the eye with her hair. Blinded at this point, Bianca is able to roll up Jade. She grabs a fistful of tights and puts her feet on the ropes too. The ref doesn't see it, and Bianca is able to pick up the victory.
That should low key just be our fucking Mania match.
The real Jaded.
Yeah, who owns the rights to Jaded? Cora Jade or Jade Cargill? Okay. In continuing the streak of women's matches, we have Becky versus Charlotte for the WWE Women's Championship. The match starts with this intense stare down. The crowd builds in anticipation before they meet in the middle and start trading chops. Charlotte chops Becky first, but Becky immediately answers. They do this for a few cycles before Charlotte just kicks Becky's knee. Becky immediately goes down to a knee, and Charlotte just taunts her, saying, "This is my redemption. You don't deserve to have what is rightfully mine." Becky grabs onto Charlotte's legs and brings her down to the mat before just unleashing a barrage of punches. Charlotte manages to get out of it by rolling out of the ring and just stares at an intense Becky in the ring. Charlotte takes her time getting back into the ring. Once she does re-enter, Becky is quick on the assault. She has Charlotte trapped in the corner just taking punches. Charlotte manages to duck a punch and immediately grabs Becky's legs and hits her with a dragon screw. Becky goes down holding her leg, and Charlotte takes a quick breath before going back in on the assault on Becky's legs. After beating down on her legs for a couple of minutes, Charlotte asks the referee to count. The referee only gets to a count of 4 before Becky crawls up the ropes and back to her feet. Becky and Charlotte share a glance at one another before Charlotte moves back in, but before she can do anything, Becky this time takes out Charlotte's knee. From here, we see Becky maintain control of the match for the next few minutes, just beating away at Charlotte. After beating her down for a bit, Becky seems like she knows she's going to need to step this up and heads outside the ring. Becky heads out of the ring and starts searching for a weapon. She kind of takes her time and eventually pulls out a kendo stick. She slides back in the ring, but Charlotte has recovered and charges across the ring and chop blocks Becky. Charlotte then picks up the kendo stick and starts to go to town on Becky. Charlotte once again demands the referee to count. This time the referee gets to a count of 6 before Becky makes her way back to her feet. Charlotte twirls the kendo stick in her hands before moving over to Becky, who quickly hits Charlotte with a manhandle slam. Becky and Charlotte are both down as the referee begins to count. Becky gets up at the count of 6 again, while Charlotte barely manages to roll out onto her feet at the count of 9. Becky makes her way outside the ring and continues the assault on Charlotte. They make their way around the ring towards the announce table. Becky gets Charlotte stunned and places her at the edge of the table. Becky then goes under the ring and grabs a steel chair. As she pulls it out, she slices up Charlotte and swings, but Charlotte ducks and gets behind Becky. When Becky turns around, Charlotte big boots the chair into Becky's face, and Becky falls back across the announce table. Charlotte then lays in a couple of punches before heading back into the ring and going to the top rope. Charlotte then jumps off and connects with a moonsault through the announce table. Both Becky and Charlotte seem to be knocked out and the referee starts counting. The referee gets to a count of 7 and both women use one another to get their way back to their feet. Once they get up, they trade punches and chops all the way back into the ring. Once back in the ring, Becky tries to go for another manhandle slam, but Charlotte reverses and kicks Becky's knee out before going for a natural selection. Becky moves out of the way, and once Charlotte stands back up, Becky once again goes for a manhandle slam, and this time connects. Both women lay on the mat as the referee starts counting. As the referee gets to a count of 6, Cora Jade's music hits. Cora comes rushing down with her briefcase. She gets into the ring and is speaking with the referee when Becky gets to her feet and confronts Cora about trying to cash in. Becky is just berating Cora, who turns away for a moment before nailing Becky in the head with the briefcase. Cora then walks away as Charlotte makes her way back to her feet and the referee starts to count. Becky starts to stir at the count of 8, but is unable to make her way back to her feet by the count of 10. Charlotte is in tears celebrating as she is your new WWE Women's Champion. Cora cost Becky the title.
All right. All right. Here goes my quick ass elimination chamber, where I just listed everyone and what the order they came out, plus like 5 spots. All right. The match starts with John Cena and CM Punk, who get to relive a legendary rivalry once more. We get some more solid wrestling between them both. When LA Knight comes out next. Oh, this is the spot. LA Knight starts talking shit to both of them. Cena and Punk just give each other a look, and then they just start beating his ass together. That continues until Aleister Black comes out next. We get a nice Punk and Black fight for a bit. Braun Breaker comes out now, followed by Adam Cole Baby. Uh, Now, time to list the spots. All right. Braun spears Black through the pod. LA Knight hits a BFT to Cole on the steel outside, on the outside steel. Black climbs the cage, does a backflip, landing on everyone. Uh, Jesus Christ. Punk hits Black with a GTS. Before Black falls down, though, Braun hits him with a spear. So he gets GTS and spear combo. Cole hits a Canadian destroyer off of the top of the pod to LA Knight. This is the first elimination. uh,
Are they
Cena,
both like on top of the pod?
yes,
Oh Jesus.
they land on the in the ring. Cena goes for an AA on Cole. Cole lands on his feet and is caught with a giant spear by Braun. Braun pins Cole. Basically the same spot as the other one, but fuck it. All right, that's second elimination. Cena AA off the top of the pod to CM Punk, third elimination. All right, now we get into depth. We're left with Cena, Braun, and Black. The three meet in the middle of the ring and have themselves a little Mexican standoff. Braun throws the first punch, knocking out Black. He looks at Cena and yells that this is his time and it's time for Cena to retire. Cena just tells him to bring it, so Braun does. Braun absolutely destroys Cena. Once he's done, he starts running the ropes, setting up for a super spear. The whole chamber starts shaking along with the ring. We get a speedometer on the screen. It shows that he hits a max speed of 30 miles per hour before he finally goes in for the kill. As he goes in for the kill, from out of nowhere, Black hits him with a black mass. Not only knocks out Braun, but now Black is on the ground writhing in pain. He finally is able to go for the cover. Braun gets eliminated, but Black can't stand anymore. We finally get a close up of his foot, and it's full Gordon Hayward all over again. Commentary is grossed out, but it doesn't linger long as Cena immediately goes and picks him up to hit him with an AA, and Cena pins him. Cena is getting his title shot at WrestleMania for a chance to break the record. Chase U comes in to celebrate with him as Black is taken away on a stretcher.
30 miles an hour is insane.
There you go.
I it's
There
not
you
even
go.
humanly possible.
He runs 25. It's just 5 more miles.
That's it's a lot more than what you would think. For a human, that is a lot more.
Exactly.
Like when you said 30, I looked at it. He would be running like as fast as like a grizzly bear. Like just hauling
He could
ass.
do it.
Just like I feel like he would have just snapped a rope hitting it as hard as he hits them. Or it would have been like that NXT thing where it's like his head just like somehow slipped behind the rope and he just like clotheslined himself with it. Would have been something like that.
Whew. All right.
Oh, I chose the wrong person. It's fine.
It's main event time. Priest is confident with himself. A few members
El
of the Judgment
Campeón.
Day are present. Only Dom and Bad Bunny are present. Priest is putting in work this match. He's out muscling Randy. Randy looks lost out there. Priest wasn't lying when he said that he would be targeting Randy's back the whole match. Priest is just throwing him into the cage, back first, multiple times. Hits him with some razor's edge, a few razor's edges. I don't know how to say edges, head, whatever. He's softening him up for that south of heaven. Priest tosses him into the ropes. Randy bounces back. Priest goes for a clothesline. Randy ducks, bounces off the ropes again, and hits Priest with a running RKO. Randy slowly crawls to the cover. One, two, kick out. Randy starts getting on the attack immediately afterwards. He can't let this moment slip. We see him throw Priest into the cage headfirst. On the fifth time he does this, Priest gets busted open. Randy sees the blood. He gets in the corner. He starts setting up for the punt. He goes for it. Priest quickly gets up and hits a south of heaven on him. Priest goes for the cover. One, two. Kick out at 2.99999. He almost put Randy away. Just one more it'll take. Just one more is all it'll take. He starts looking around and we see a light bulb go off in his head. He starts picking Randy's lifeless body up. He drags him to the corner. He starts putting him on the top turnbuckle. He's going for a south of heaven off the top. He's getting his bearings as he's climbing when we hear a loud bang from the outside of the ring. The camera turns to see Finn Balor with a chair in his hand and Bad Bunny on the floor. Dom runs in. He gets hit with a chair as well. We cut to Priest, and he's in disbelief. He doesn't know what to do. He has this match won. Finn goes under the ring, brings out another chair. He places it under Bunny's head. Priest lets go of Randy and starts yelling at Finn to stop. Finn laughs. He lifts the chair in his hand and swings at Bunny's head. Concerto. Priest starts losing it. He's shaking the cage, telling the ref to open the door. Finn swings the chair again at Bunny's head. Priest starts climbing the cage because they can't find the key. Balor starts climbing it too. He wants to meet him up there. Balor and Priest fight at the top for a bit until Randy finally gets up and pulls down Priest. He hits an RKO on him. And just like he did at Survivor Series, Balor leaps off the top of the cage and lands a massive coup de grace on Priest. Balor gets out of there quickly, and Randy Orton pins Priest. After Priest recovers, he follows and chases Finn. He chases Finn down, and Randy's in the ring alone with his title. Finally, he gets a moment of peace. Damien put up one hell of a fight, and if it wasn't for the deal he made with Finn weeks earlier, he might not have been champion anymore. His next challenge is WrestleMania. He now knows who will be challenging him. John Cena, longtime rival. He's ready to foil Cena's plans of becoming a 17-time champion. He's sitting there with the look of amusement when suddenly we hear Gunta! Randy's face turns into one filled with fear as we see Mr. Money in the Bank making his way to the ring. Alright, Act 2 and 3. Randy is trying to get out of there, but he can't. His back is taking a beating these past few months, and Priest's game plan worked. He can barely stand, let alone run. Gunther goes to Lil Nate and hands him the briefcase. Randy is telling him not to accept the cash in, but it's the rules. Anytime, any place. Lillian Garcia announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, Gunther is cashing in his money in the bank briefcase." Gunther gets in the ring. The bell rings. Gunther rushes in and grabs a helpless Randy, power bombs him, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and he goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and new WWE champion Gunther.
Ring Canada.